A few minutes ago, you mentioned something like, for me, you pointed at me, even if I went all the way down to despair, or you said something like, I'm never in danger and I'm never going to experience. But I'm not going to experience the things I've experienced again. Like, I'm not going to go there with what I know. I know that in my head. I really do. I want my body to know that so that it's less reactive. I wouldn't be flying all over the world by myself if I felt truly in danger. I really have a lot of trust and faith in humanity and in myself and in my interactions with the world in some ways. My body is still
reacting to the physical conditions around you. And so these things are always true. I, in any point in time, have a relationship with my inner being, and I'm going to have a relationship with the ingredients that surround me. But what is the most important factor? What's the most important factor?
How I feel.
The most important factor is your relationship with your inner being. And so if you make that your dominant awareness, then the other things fall into place. The reason that you enjoyed the conversation so much, and the reason that you are not feeling as good as you usually feel in this environment with these ingredients, is because something was activated with you in that earlier conversation that has you remembering things, and so there's an active vibration within you.
Right.
An active vibration that even as you are speaking with us, as you have done so many times before, you cannot overcome that vibration in this moment. Every thought that is ever thought still exists. And everything that you've ever experienced, you have the potential of activating it and not just remembering it, but recreating it. So that might make you feel uncomfortable unless you know that you have the ability to move your mind toward things that are more pleasing. So we're going to speak for your inner being. We're going to stand over here and speak as your inner being wants you to hear. We're not ever going to be in any kind of agreement with you about the things that you are temporarily remembering. What is it about letting the past be the past that is so hard for you all to do?
Because I don't want to be the one to repeat it. That's what it is. That's what's hard. I'm not going to be that. But I'm spending so much time focusing on not being that of course there's nothing else I can be.
This is the thing that you're not understanding, is that when you decide that you want to be that, clunk down the engine going that way, not that, clunk down the engine going that way. You've clunked down two engines going in opposite direction. And then you say, no, I'm going to be this, not this. Mm-hmm. Two more engines. No, I really mean it. I'm going to be this, not this. Now there's three engines. I really, really mean this. I mean, I'm going to be this, not this. Is anybody listening to me? This, not this. 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 And we say, how about this and this and this and this and this? But if there have been some this is going to be really fun to listen back to. Of course it is logical that negative experiences could be dominant in your experience. And of course it is logical that really not wanting something makes you really want something. Of course it is logical that your sense of freedom is much more powerful than your sense of bondage. But the thing is, when you want things that you don't currently believe that you have, you're going to get that not. And that not is going to feel like anger, and that anger is a good indication because it means you're not where you think you are on some of these subjects. You're not where you think you are. So where do you want to be? Well, you want to be in a better feeling place. Well, how's a way to get to that better feeling place? Don't think about those things. Don't think about those things. Think about other things. Don't think about those things. Think about other things.
I can do that.
So why are we even having this conversation when you already know all of these things? We're asking you. We're not trying to put you on the spot, and we're not trying to get you to say things that we want you to say. We're asking you, what is it that you feel is holding you in this conversation?
I'd like to be able to name what I want over there. And when I try to name it, it sounds like things like calm. I don't want to be calm. I love all my enthusiasm. I just don't want the opposite end of the enthusiasm, which is the anger. If I can name what's over there, I can get there. When I can't name it, I can't even find Yuma if I don't know the name of Yuma.
But you see, that doesn't even make any sense. That makes no sense at all, because you never are more able to name what you want over here than when you're feeling what's over here. He beat me up. I don't want to be where somebody beats me up. In other words, you never know more clearly what you do want than when you're focused upon what you don't want. So what you just said there cannot be true. We do not believe that you believe that. We think those are just words that are holding you in a place that you don't belong and that you don't want to be.
Well, that's way better than me having a shitty belief.
But what if you don't want to admit where you are? What if you can't talk about where you want to be because you aren't willing to acknowledge where you are? What if you are somehow not letting the contrast serve you because you've already called contrast bad, because contrast is already something you don't want, because anger is something you shouldn't be living? What if you won't let yourself really know what you want because you're not willing to even admit that you're standing where you don't want to stand?
Okay.
Wow. So if you can make where you are not only all right, but completely understandable, then of course you can say, well, I don't want this. I don't want this. I'm so clear that I don't want this. I want that. What is that? What is that?
Co-creation that's fun, that's exhilarating, that's moving in a positive direction, that's expanding, that's easy. I want easy. I want easy interactions with other people.
Say it in some other terminology that you understand. I want to be cooperative with the universe. I want to move with universal forces. I want to use that leverage that creates worlds. I really want to be the energy flower that I'm known to be. I want to step out of action more and into energy flow. I'm going to let the lions be delivered because I really want them, and I'm not going to let them take those horses off the truck if I haven't flowed any energy about it. In other words, they can put the horses back on the truck. I didn't really want the horses. I really wanted the lions. And I can distinguish the difference. I can tell the difference between whether I'm jumping into an action too soon or if I'm taking the action to try to make it happen. I can feel. I'm a master at this. We're speaking for you. I'm a master at this. I really feel when the energy is flowing. And I really feel when I'm in sync with that. And I like that so much, I cannot accept anything less than that. So all you need to do, and Esther too, is don't take action unless you're sure a lot of energy has flowed. Oh, Esther's going to fall in love with those horses. She will fall in love with the horses. What's not to like? They're magnificent horses. The reason we tell you the story is because she could feel the difference between the energy work that she'd done before and the manifestation, and the energy work that she hadn't done before and the manifestation. And that's what you're talking about here too. You can bang your way through a lot of relationships. You can bang your way through a lot of associations. You can collaborate and co-create with a lot of people because there's people all around and they all want to collaborate with you. Everybody wants to go where you go and do what you do and be where you are. Everybody really likes that. But you have to be discerning of what feels good to you. And how are you going to know if you don't have some experiences? How are you going to know? How are you going to sort that out? We write so many good books. So many good books. And every word in them is about law-based things that are important to you. And you can't learn anything from any of those books. It's only your life experience that teaches you anything. And your life experience, then when you read the books, the life experience sort of makes a little bit more sense to you. We're not saying totally ignore the books. What we are saying is be appreciative of the life experience. That is the only way that you get the knowing. And the bottom line is, if you don't feel so good, if you're even disappointed, let alone angry, if you're a little disappointed, let alone angry, then there's something going on in your vibration that you want to smooth out, and action isn't going to fix it. So you can't jump into one more relationship or into one more business enterprise, or you can't let them offload 3 more great, big, heavy, beautiful horses. That's not going to fix anything. If you let yourself move in terms of action toward things that you have not lined up with energy, it's going to be miserable as it unfolds. It can't be otherwise. But when you flow the energy first, when you flow the energy and the ideas come and you follow the ideas and you're not trying to make anything happen and you're not trying to prove anything to anybody and You're not trying to undo anything, and you're not trying to get anybody to understand you, and you're not trying to explain nothing to nobody, and you're just following your bliss and following your bliss and following your bliss. That's how you want to live. That's what's in your vortex. You won't accept anything less than that. That's what you want. We said the words. It took a little while for us to have this conversation, but we said your words. That's what you want. You said it too. I want ease and flow. So now we're going to speak for you. I want ease and flow. I want belief in myself. I want to trust the law of attraction unequivocally. I want to believe in my guidance system. I want to embrace my negative emotion as much as I embrace my positive emotion. I want to relax in all of this. I want to realize that there's no urgency about anything. I'm not trying to prove anything to anybody. I'm just living happily ever after. I'm just letting what the contents of my vortex expose themselves to me and reveal themselves to me and be realized by me as I move along. And I want to have a whole lot of fun with a whole lot of people in the process. That's all. So, we've said to you before that we really are not advocates of digging stuff up and fixing it, because you can't dig anything up and fix it. But we didn't dig it up. It was already out there. It was already out there. But you were not acknowledging that it was there, so you weren't doing the work. Now you know it's there, and now you'll do the work.
Right. Yes, I want to be loving. I'm naturally really, really loving. And
no question about it.
Wanting to move in that direction again.
And our friend's not going to beat anybody up. Not too many. He won't beat too many. He'll beat fewer and fewer up as time goes by. This has been a very beneficial conversation to everyone. Sometimes people say, just last weekend in Philadelphia, someone asked this question. What if I have unconscious beliefs that are in my way? And we say, well, if you're not feeling any emotion about them, then they're not a big enough player to be affecting you. And if they are a big enough player to be affecting you, then you're going to be feeling emotion around them. So isn't it nice when you realize that you have emotion that's pointing at something that's in your way? So we want, just for a moment, because this has been intense and a little bit heavy, we want you to understand how really beautifully and easily this all works. We want you to realize that your inner being does know everything that you want and where you are in relationship to it. And this is the most important thing that you'll hear from us all day. Your inner being knows what the path of least resistance is between where you are and where you want to be. Say it again. Your inner being knows where your path of least resistance is. Your inner being understands your path, and your inner being understands the resistance that you've put on the trail. Your inner being is not upset about the resistance that you put on the trail. Your inner being is aware of the resistance that you put on the trail, but your inner being is navigating you around the resistance that you put on the trail. Because your inner being knows you don't have to go back and clean up that resistance. You just can't look at it without it being a blockade that will not let you move along your trail. Does that make sense to you? You don't have to go back and clean things up. You just have to get tuned into your inner being, who will guide you through the path of least resistance to what you want. Your inner being never says to you, gotta go back and clean that up. You've got to go back to the time that you were 10, and you've got to confront those demons, and you've got to bring them out into the open, and you've got to find a new place. No. That's not what your inner being is saying, and that's not what we're saying to you, and that's not what we wanted to happen to you. But if there's resistance on your trail that you keep tripping over, then you either got to get rid of the resistance or, and this is the better option, you got to get rid of the resistance. First of all, friends, you can't, so give that up. You got to do one of two things. You got to give up the resistance. You can't do that. You can't undo that. You can't stop remembering things. You can't not see a photograph and not remember what it meant, or hear music and remember what it meant. In other words, you're not going to undo that resistance. All right? You're not going to undo that resistance. You're not going to have not lived what you've lived. How about that? You're not going to unlive what you've lived. Nor would you want to, because you put the other end of it in your vortex, which is calling you. You put the do want in your vortex, which is calling you. So your vortex, your inner being, are calling you toward what you are wanting. And even though all that resistance is peppered all around on your trail, your inner being says, come this way, come this way, come this way. Meet this person, see this, see this, see this. Your inner being never says, get rid of it. Your inner being says, ignore it. Your inner being says, come this way. Come this way, 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 come this way. and you say, but what about this that I did? Or what about this that I said? What about this that I thought? That's resistance that your inner being is not asking you to focus upon and make more.